David, I know you think Trump won't be arrested, but will he be investigated when he leaves office? So almost certainly there are going to be investigations of Donald Trump's businesses. There's going to be a lot of financial crime investigation. It's possible that even people close to Donald Trump are going to go down. But yeah, I still don't think you're ever going to see Trump in prison. There are a lot of people who rightly are feeling that if Donald Trump isn't personally prosecuted, that an injustice has been done. And I am not arguing that Trump has done nothing worthy of being investigated and potentially charged with criminality. But this is not a country that does that. And I know that that upsets lots of people, and some people like the fact that this is not a country that every time you get a new president, they investigate, charge, and potentially even imprison the previous president. It's not a country that does that. I don't think we're going to see that. What we will see are investigations into Donald Trump's business dealings and financial stuff. I think that Trump's enablers can and should be prosecuted directly when it applies. This includes family. This includes Republican senators. This includes other functionaries, people involved in enabling illegal activity, even if it's financially illegal activity, if such activity exists. They should be harshly penalized. As far as Trump goes, I don't think it'll touch Trump. I think there's the real possibility that his businesses will end up having to settle and pay absolutely massive fines. It's conceivable that if you find people involved in Trump's businesses caught red-handed with financial fraud, money laundering, whatever, it's possible they may end up convicted. I just don't think it's going to touch Trump, and I don't think it's going to be for political crimes. It'll be tax evasion, money laundering, improper use of charities, which Donald Trump has already been caught doing. I think it will be that type of thing. I do believe that Trump is worried because Trump doesn't know. We had a few reports from right before the election that part of why Trump is panicking is because he's worried that the rest of his life will be riddled by investigations, and maybe he could end up in prison. I just don't think he'll end up in prison. I think it's completely plausible that you do see investigations of different kinds plague the rest of Donald Trump's life. Now, on the other side, there's people asking about pardons. Couldn't Trump preemptively pardon everybody who's likely to be wrapped up in this? I think there's two things that will prevent that from happening. Number one, I don't think Trump really cares about these people. Trump doesn't care about his supporters. It's not clear Trump even cares about his enablers. And that's one part of it. The other part of this is Trump has not shown himself to be detail-oriented enough to actually figure out who is it that I need to grant blanket preemptive pardons for. So I don't think that Trump will do it. He may do it with some. I don't think he will get to everybody. And then the other reason I think you are going to see a deluge of investigations and possible charges after Trump is out of office when it comes to his associates is look at how many Trump associates were convicted while Donald Trump was in office with a Department of Justice encumbered by Trump loyalists running interference. Once Trump is gone and you have a different Justice Department, I think you will see many more Trump acolytes go down. Now, the last thing I want to say about this, Joe Biden shouldn't be involved in this at all. Remember when Trump was saying to Hillary during the 2016 debates, if I was president, you'd be locked up and we're going to investigate you and all of this stuff. And in fact, while Trump was president, he tried to push the Justice Department. Can't you investigate Biden? Can't you do this? Can't you do that? Joe Biden should have no involvement whatsoever in any possible investigations of anybody associated with Donald Trump. I don't believe Joe Biden will do that. Joe Biden has shown no interest in that. He's shown no willingness to do that. And to be perfectly frank, even if he liked the idea of being involved in investigations of Trump, Joe Biden's going to have his hands more than full trying to clean up the mess from Donald Trump. And he will be plenty busy. And I believe that the next Department of Justice will also be very, very busy. Look at what escaped the Trump bubble while he was president that we learned about in terms of criminality. Imagine what we're going to learn about once he's finally gone.